What's going on, Eric?
How's it going?
I'm good, brother. I'm over here. I gotta send this link to that Dope Girls Comics. Give me a minute real quick. It's my first time.
Same here.
Hold up. All right, I gotta copy your link. Hey, Lina, check your DM. Click the link. All right. Finally glad to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
I'm trying to situate this thing over here, man. It's my first time, first official show.
Yeah.
I just want to first off say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's good to see you.
Good thing we left 2020 behind, trying to start off fresh slate here.
Yep.
I just want to say I'm a real fanboy of your work. I don't know what it is because every artist has their style. I guess they've developed, over their journey in the art world. But yours, I don't know, is it a miniaturization of characters? Like the detail is so impeccable, yet it's such a minute scale. It is just amazes me. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, bro. I just came across you in the algorithm, like I like to call it. And I just couldn't stop. And every time I just kept seeing your stuff, and I was like, wow, I gotta reach out to this guy. But last year was just me getting my feet wet, into this whole thing, seeing how everybody maneuvers and just being a fan,
Yeah.
Even though I'm a creator and I wanted to do so much things, but it was just being humble and just looking at all the talent that I never knew was out there. And you thank God for that part of the internet.
Yeah, I'm fairly new to Instagram. I've only been on here about a little over a year, and I didn't even know this was here. Like I once I started seeing all the artwork and all the creators around the world just putting stuff out there, it's really helped me just kind of push myself to try and just do cool stuff and just play around. And like I've been doing creative stuff my whole life, and this is the first time it's branched out into really my own stuff being available to the world. It's always been commercial, working for somebody else, making their product, and now it's just like, well, wait, I can make my own stuff, put it out there, and tell my story, basically.
That's
or just
what
make
I want.
a fan art.
that's
fun
that's
too.
usually how everybody gets their feet wet.
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce the other part of the team. We assembling. This is Lina. What's going on? Everything good, Lina? Yeah, I can hear you.
It's
a little bit. Yeah, it's going in and out. Yeah. I want to ask you, Eric. How did you start in art? Like, what was your journey like?
I started when I was 3 years old, painting Superman in preschool, and that kind of led to just doing that stuff. I never really did much else besides play with toys and make art. And as I went into school, like elementary school, and then I teach is like, oh, you could be a graphic artist. You can go do graphic arts and stuff like that. And then it turned into as high school went on, it's like there's these cool things called video games kind of around, and I didn't know that was a job. They were just always there, And so I've been doing video games since 2007. Like I went to school for game art and doing animation, and I mean, like, you can see all the toys back here. You know, it's the way I look at animation. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, I said we'll get her back.
So the way I look at animation, it's really just the digital version of playing with toys. And so I've done this stuff. I used to take my toys and film them, do stop motion animation, and draw characters that I've loved. And then when I found out you can do it professionally, like, I knew Disney was a thing, I knew video games were a thing, but then it's like, oh, you can do this stuff and make money doing it, or at least do this all the time. I got exposed to college, like art college, through friends at work, and so I just went and did it because I was not the most academic person, we'll say.
Most of those creators usually have that route.
if I have to multiply and do numbers, it hurts my brain, and I'd rather just make cool art. And you know, it slowly evolved into beyond just making it for fun. Started discovering storytelling, and besides just making something dumb and fun, actually putting, you know, some type of personal spin on it, telling someone's history. And, you know, I went to video games, and because video games to me are the epitome of storytelling, because the player, whoever's using it, is interacting, they're dynamically changing the story. And so it's kind of become where most of my art goes, is either professional games or my own games. And I teach. That's what I do outside of art. So
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You referred to your students, so I want to know if you were teaching.
Yeah, I teach. I just got a new gig at a place called Game U, and it's teaching this kind of stuff, like rigging, animation stuff, video game stuff, to kids online. And it's really the part that I'm involved in is focused on teaching special needs students. And so it's kind of taking it to a level where it's more core fundamental stuff, and really how you do this stuff in a way that is kind of easy to understand, but making it fun. Because a lot of people are afraid of going on the technical side of making games. There's art, there's creating art, but then there's a whole nother side that's completely technical, and trying to do that in a way that makes it fun and engaging. And it's a challenge, but it's also super rewarding.
It's gratifying, very gratifying.
And like, I've been teaching this stuff on the college level for years now, 5 years, at Laguna College of Art and Design here in California. And it's a different thing there, because I'm like, when I started teaching, I was super inspired by all my students, because they're all itching, they're hungry, they're ready to work. And I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the industry. I want to step away from studio life. And
you need that fire.
Yeah, and so I hit a wall a couple of years ago. I went through some personal family stuff and just stepped away completely and hit the reset button, dove into teaching, and now I'm trying to stay as creative as possible. Like, you've seen me on Instagram. I try and post every day, and just holding myself accountable to it, even if it's just dumb little fan art. And
please don't use the word dumb, because
you know it's
no, but what you call dumb might just affect somebody else that day, brighten up their day.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's just that we don't realize the dumb things that we do touch people. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't dumb to them, you know?
Yeah. And I honestly, it's fun. Like, I just sit there and just do it. And it's, when I say dumb, it's just that kind of more like, it's dumb fun. I got you. I'm not invested. It's nothing I'm invested in. I'm not creating. It's not my story. It's how can I take this and kind of, if I were to do it, this is how I were to do it, or it's playing my homage to them as well.
Yes. Like how you did Grogu with the crisscross. And you had Grogu with the crisscross. That's just how you felt at the time. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought that was amazing, like, just to see the mashup, you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
you did the post-apocalyptic Dark Elmo. I mean, with Ernie and Bert and Sesame Street, and you did the whole lineage. I was just dying. Like, this is so amazing. Like like I'm the boy on the other side geeking. Why you like this is just little dumb fun? I'm like, man, this is amazing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
I just have this
can't.
weird thing.
I don't got that superpower, and like I said, I'm a fan of artists. To me, it's a superpower. I'm a big comic book guy who writes comic books. I'm a writer, but that's a superpower to me. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's what I see as a superpower. My buddy that I'm doing a children's book with, and he'll come up with these stories, and we'll put the story work together ourselves. But he'll take it and put his little magic with his fingers, and the stuff that you and I are collaborating on something, and just reading what you've given me, like. I was super inspired just by the 12 pages. I'm like, dude, this world is going to be dope. I'm ready to dive into it.
That anthology, that I wrote that on a plane coming from Miami, and I was like, whoa, what the hell did I just write? You know what I'm saying to you? Lina, you got any questions?
Yes. Who do you idolize when it comes to art?
Oh God. It's all over the place. So I started with Disney and Disney animators. So Glenn Keane working on Beauty and the Beast, Tarzan, of course Jim Lee, Batman, Superman. Even way before that, when I was a teenager, I was really big into the Image comics growing up. So J. Scott Campbell with Gen 13, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane with Spawn and the stuff he did with Spider-Man. All the way up to now is finding people on Instagram. Like there are so many dope people that just have these collections and they've slowly kind of become my favorites just because they're taking these ideas and making them their own.
Right.
And that's kind of, you strive to be the next Jim Lee or the next whatever. And, watching, like, I remember meeting like Matt Broom, J. Scott Campbell, all these dudes here in San Diego because that's where they're from, a lot of them. And they were talking about building Image and, going to my local comic shop and getting stuff signed by these guys, just 10 people in line. And now I'm following them on Instagram. They have thousands and millions of followers and you see their names on the big screen. It's just like, man, I knew that guy when, but I didn't know them, obviously. It's just
yes.
Yeah, it's like I was there and watching them grow, and it's like
the journey.
Yeah, and being inspired by having these people push themselves, and ton of French comic artists like with like Sky Girl, and there's a whole bunch of things where they take it and make it super cartoony. And so I couldn't even name, besides the one I just did, there's so many, like, I don't know if you can see it. There's tons and tons of art books down there. And sometimes it's just, I know I like an image and I don't know who's drawn it. And then I start seeing more of that style. And then I realize I've been collecting this person's work for years and I didn't even know
it. Yeah. You just following the style.
Yeah. So, and that's where I like Scotty Young was a big one for me. Like that, like taking a character and breaking it down to its most simple shapes. And like you can do Spider-Man with a couple lines and a little squiggly bits, and then there's some emotion. And that's where I've kind of gravitated towards the more cartoony and simplified stuff.
I think that's the key word there, simplified.
Yeah.
Yes, it is so simplistic, but sometimes simplicity is amazing because everybody is just trying to do, and then when you strip things down to the bare bone, you're like, oh my God, what the heck? And you start to really see, like, the truth, what they call it now, organic.
Yeah.
That's what we look at, the organic look. You know what I'm saying? So and you get to appreciate. Not only that, you don't realize how much complexity has been added until someone comes with a simplified version. You go, oh shit, this shit has really been too much complexity has been added. Too many layers have been added upon this thing. Just to see this guy strip away everything and just have it bare, and everybody's just in awe. Like, oh, did you see the new thing? Like, what new thing? That's just the original thing.
Yeah.
You guys got too complicated. Lina, you have another?
Yeah. Where do you plan to take your art in the next couple of years?
Wherever it takes me. I don't really know. We're working on a children's book right now, and it's very. I've been really big on the education side of things and kind of how can I make my work become more than just poster art.
Right.
And it's like with the children's book, and so we have the children's book we're doing, and we're also doing children's like picture books, because right now it's more of a young adult reader with some art to it. The next project we're looking at is more picture book, and still trying to hit morals and education, but still keeping it fun. And it's the same kind of thing I do with video games. Like I love video games.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go and make something that's just kind of consuming.
Right.
It's more giving stuff back. So you're getting an experience out of it, whether it's you're learning something or you're just able to turn off your brain and get away from all the mess and go into something that's
and lose
just
yourself
more
in some fantasy,
yeah.
Something like an escapism.
Yeah, and still get something out of it on a personal level.
Okay.
Like if you can be affected, if you can feel empathy for these characters, and not
that's
just
what I always go for.
Yeah.
You can feel some kind of trouble that they're going through, that they help you in your everyday life.
Yeah.
That story's got to help you. We even do that with our favorite movies. We watch them time and time again. Sometimes they're attached to memories. And not only that, the character's journey, the time frame. That's why I like Lina's story, Afro Demon, set in a certain time period, because it brings you back to that period where times were maybe simpler.
Yeah,
and it invokes a type of an emotion. It must invoke some type of an emotion. Like that's why when I wrote The Color of Hate, it invoked an emotion. I'm like, wow, it made me sit back and think, like, damn, wow, is it really like who's in control, or is it anybody who's in control? Is it just the human nature, of things? You know what I'm saying to you? So just to invoke thought, like, what if, like, damn, you know what I'm saying to you? Like Tupac said, I may not be the person to change the world, but I might be the spark that sparks that person's brain.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't have to be, I'm not looking for delusions of grandeur, but I just want that when I leave this earth, and I leave something behind that people could remember and feel good about, at least,
Yeah. Did I consume or did I give back?
Yes. Without just a big vacuum cleaner, or did I plant a couple of seeds and a couple of trees grew from it, Even if it was some shit I left behind and something grew from the manure. Because I'm not perfect, but that's what we're trying to do. And when you do stories and you do art, listen, man, we don't live forever. Our kids don't live forever, but that does.
Right. Yeah.
Right? These things that we're reading things that religion is based on writing thousands of years old, So it's like these things are not going anywhere. So we're going to leave a part of ourselves in memorial. We're in the right business to do so, because if we were a lawyer, what do we leave it in memorial except a bunch of angry people that we did wrong? But as artists and as creators, that's why I love the show Indie Creators. We're creating. We're not God, but in our own human form, we're creating something.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the best thing. Like, we created our children, when we know how we felt when we had that. So it's like, when we could create something on a minor scale like that, art, whether it be a story, that's still it's a big thing, and it lives forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you currently teaching animation. As far as your I see a lot of your art, and one thing about me as a writer, I can stare at a picture for 2, 3, 4 days, the same picture over and over again. I will write the story just from looking at the picture. That's why you see this cover was made before the story was finished, before the comic book was worked on. I found this artist from the Philippines online, and I commissioned the cover. And I stared at this comic, and I'm telling you, every character, every scene came from me constantly staring at the rays shooting out his arm, and I would just be lost. And I do that with your pictures, like, because you wrote that one story. I actually wrote the summary for 4 other stories from your pictures. One for Junkbot. It's a whole story. Just because I love Junkbot. I just loved what it represented, and it took me somewhere else. And it's just old stupid picture you had. Like, the word, to use your words, dumb. that dumb doodle might become a heartfelt thing that's left back, but it's a dumb doodle just to show you in real time what I was saying before. You have that one story. We're gonna debut it today. It's called The Color of Hate.
Yeah.
We're gonna debut that, and from that one story, I'm not gonna lie to you, I see an anthology.
Yeah.
Of really emotional, like you said just now, I want to invoke emotion in each. Not only that, emotion and thought.
Yeah,
because we always, everyone's like this. I want everybody to open up, put people in other people's shoes, switch things around, and I think that, and from the junk bodies along that line, it's along the same. It's not the same story, it's not the same theme, but it's along that line, along that vein, and it's just. Watch when I'm going to shoot it to you the same. I don't even want to tell you anything else just until it's done. Because it's an inspiration thing, right? Because if you're not inspired, you were inspired from the first story, and that's how your art came. So it's like if you're inspired from the second story, I always deal with that with artists. It's all about inspiration. If you don't have any inspiration, I don't want the work. That's why a lot of times I commission the work, I pay you up front. There's a couple of times I pay you up front and bonus you. To let you know that, bro, and I won't rush you because I'm not a guy I think really far out. So I might commission you for something now that I'm not going to use for 4 months from now because I want you to take your time. I want you to go back to it, eat peanut butter sandwiches every other Saturday if you feel that that's what it takes to give me what you, because I understand how artists work. And writers don't work like that. We have writer's block. We can't just I have to go see a scenery. I have to go somewhere. I have to go somewhere, interact with people. Somebody says something, do something that moves me, and then it clicks with a scene that I'm writing. You can't just sit there. Where are you drawing from? What are you? You can't just draw from past memories all the time. You understand what I'm saying? So, just to let you know, that little dumb doodles, they are amazing. I'm saying I like, holy shit, it fits his art style like this. Just keep doing what you're doing, brother. I just want to tell you that. We're gonna after the live, you're gonna debut it on your page, the cover.
Yeah.
And I'll debut it on my page. And then February 20th, for anybody that doesn't know out there, we have the Tales from the Dispatch with Indie Comics Dispatch. Contest winner will get the works published on Comixology and a couple of other digital platforms. And me and Eric decided, I just hit him up. Like I said, on some fanboy stuff. I'll do the whole story. You do the artwork, 50-50. We're not dealing with the corporate stuff. And we just out here. If it blows up, we'll deal with that when it comes. But for now, we keep cracking out the anthologies between our lives because, life happens. We got things to do with others, right? So, but it's just an amazing thing to be able to put out your own stuff. Because like I said, you work for a lot of people. You see the people at Image. And every journey begins with one step. Right? And one thing I want to say about this algorithm last year, this quarantine, everything happens for a reason. We were all brought together. We were all forced to stop even if we didn't want to. No matter what was going on in our lives, no matter if you were moving slow or at a breakneck speed, no matter if you were in depression or totally up, you had to stop. And I'm going to tell you, it was good for a lot of us. It was bad for a lot of us. A lot of things happened. But in life, you need to stop.
Yeah.
Reassess, appreciate what you have, reprioritize. Because in this digital vain, cosmetic world, we prioritize the wrong things. And then when everything slows down, you can't go nowhere and you can't do nothing and you have to face your problems because you can't run from them. You have to deal with them head on.
Yeah.
Right? And we pray that prayer like, Lord, remove all the things that's not good for me. And then your friends and your family start leaving. Like, you don't know what you just prayed. Like, because you're thinking that the enemy is always without, but sometimes it's within. And most of that time, that enemy is you. It's always, the majority of it, obviously there's other forces that stop us in life, but the majority will always be held by us. You know what I'm saying? Not thinking, not wanting to make the leap, not, and then all that, the whole algorithm can't go nowhere. So they're just there hovering. I ain't got nothing to do. So they're just there watching your work. You're hitting that person and he's there. He's responding right away because he ain't going nowhere. Everyone's with their phone in their hand.
That's true.
So we got to take what we could take from this and go where we could go, and you can see what's going on this year. I'm sure I see your page lighting up. Everybody's dropping. This Kickstarter's going on.
Yeah.
We got ours March 5th. There's so many indie projects. There's so many indie publishers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was unheard of. You know what I'm saying? If I was Marvel or DC or any corporate exec, I would be signing contracts, or I will be making my enemy for later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and usually when you're that far up the corporate chain, you're clueless as to what's really going on the streets. Right? And that's what makes the big wigs eventually fade away. Because no matter what IG or anybody with their terms of service or anybody does to us, we the people will always prevail. Like, look what they did on Reddit with GameStop. Like, at the end of the day, we're showing you that when we get together, we can make Instagram MySpace any day, you know? Mm-hmm. We just have to turn our attention somewhere else, you know what I'm saying?
With this situation, too, like the world is so much smaller now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I mean, we're across the country. Like, I'm down in San
I didn't
Diego.
even realize you know, I talk to everybody like they live in New York. I'm like, dummy, this is the internet. This guy could be in West Virginia, could be in wherever. I didn't realize you were on the West Coast, because then you like Eastern Standard Time. I'm like, oh, shoot, he's probably on the West. I'm like, oh, man, that's 5 p.m. over there, like, you know? Yeah. So and I'm talking to you back and forth, like, it's late night. I don't know where I'm on the train in the morning. And it's so funny. It's like you're right there, but if you was to put yourself, you see me, I'm on the train, it's busy, I'm trying to get to work at 5 in the morning, but we're back and forth, and I'm on the train. Like, you gotta understand, I have service in between stops. It was never like that at all in New York. So every time when the next stop comes, your message goes in. I send another one, the next stop comes, the message, and I'm just sitting there like, what the hell is
I'm in bed. Like, we're talking, I'm asleep. I'm like,
and I'm on the train with full tools on the back, like time difference. Like you said, the world is this small.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to my artist. Sometimes I don't realize he's 13 hours ahead. I'm like, holy shit, it's daytime over there. What the hell? And he's talking to me like, yo, bro, you know, it's 1 a.m. Ain't nothing I can do right now. Like, oh yeah, I mean tomorrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh shit, he's in the Philippines. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it's a beautiful, like I always tell my son, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's in college. He just got with his friends, and they've always been smart, always been in the smart class, always did great. I wanted to release an album. You thought like I was going to say no. I'm like, hell yeah. Just once I'm the road manager, make sure you send me all the previews. And he's looking at me like I'm going to give him a lecture. I'm like, bro, go for it. My mom's lied to me. She said skateboarding will never make a life doing skateboarding. You'll never make a life playing video games. You'll never make a life doing comic books. Those were all lies, okay? Because they're on the X Games right now doing 6 figures skateboarding, snowboarding. These guys are making comic books. These guys are playing video games in tournaments and making, you know what I'm saying, all kinds of thousands of dollars. I'm like, I had to tell my mom that. She started laughing. I'm like, you told me get off the skateboard. All the stuff I love to do. Saturday morning cartoons, my He-Man toy, because I had Ram Man going in the He-Man. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. Read a book. I read Superman 2 because it was a required reading. There's pictures in it, but it's required reading. It's on the shelf. I don't want to read that Superman 2. Leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I wrote a book for reluctant readers, because that was me. But that doesn't mean we don't want to read. It just means you need to engage my attention. You need to work harder.
Yep.
So I need to work harder to engage these young, and it's usually male boys, 8 to 11, and they want to do what I was doing: Nintendo, cold cereal, video game. You know what I'm saying? And they're friends and hanging out, and I get it. But if I don't have to twist their ear to read a book, and they actually see images like a ninja kangaroo and like, you know what I'm writing, that's what I want them to see. And they're going to like, I'm going to finish this because I need to see what comes next.
Right.
Now you've opened them to, I need another one like that no one has to tell me to read. And another one and then all of a sudden I fell in love with reading and I didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of goes hand in hand too. Because like when your mom was going, it was the same thing with my parents. This wasn't available to them. So they couldn't go make money skateboarding. And
the infrastructure wasn't set up. There was no X Games. There was no Mountain Dew. X Games. There wasn't none of that stuff. So
it's like the people who I guess, quote unquote, call the shots, they're now in charge. The people that we grew up with are now the ones that are producing things. And so it trickles down. So now that we're kind of in the position to show what we can do, now these people growing up, that they can see, oh, you can go write a story. You don't have to go and read this. You don't have to go and do this. You can make your own path.
They have something to aspire to now, because they see people doing that for a living.
Yep. The initial members of the tribe have gone off and done that, and now they can follow suit. Right. Where, you know, our particular age group, like the late 70s, early 80s, they didn't have Star Wars. They didn't have all these things that inspire. It was more, I want to be a cowboy. And you watch things like The Toys That Made Us and stuff like that. You see, I want to be a cowboy, I want to be a spaceman, and this. And now that people have created things, and those have evolved into their own life form. Like Star Wars was an idea that turned into a movie that grabbed everybody.
Right. Yeah. It's a living breathing entity. And what they just did with the Mandalorian, holy moly. I was jumping up and down like a fanboy seeing Luke coming in. Bro, let me tell you, they wrote that eating cereal like what we were saying on God. They tapped into their inner child. Because I was going crazy as a writer. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta step it up. I gotta step it up. This is amazing. Like, you know, but like you said, and that's why with this whole movement with the Black independent comic creators, the representation that matters, because if you don't see yourself in that light, how can you aspire to be that new wave of thing? Like, I've never seen a guy like that. He has braids or he has a flat top. Like, you understand? Like, this representation matters to the next generation. Say, I want to draw, and I never seen myself in that position. Is that a thing? Like, some people don't even know if that's the thing. Like, I could really just sit here and do, wow. Like, you know what I'm saying to you? So, like you said, we are that front line to say, yo, listen, man, this is the thing. We didn't even thought it was a thing. I mean, we refused to grow up, and we refused to stop doing what we love. So we made it a thing.
Right.
You know
I was forced to go to school. I don't really want to go to school. Oh, I can go to school to make art and video games. Okay, now I'll go to school.
You see, why didn't you lead with that? Is what the older generation said. They would have led with that, bro. I would have went straight. You know what I'm saying to you? So I kind of see what you were saying.
I don't want to pay for it.
You have any more follow-up questions?
Yes. Do you ever want to do a comic book?
I've been trying to make a comic book since I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I can never, like this, the book that you and I are working together right now, this is the farthest I've taken a comic.
Oh, wow.
In my 40 years of living.
So wait a minute. I pushed you out your comfort zone to complete a pack. I feel honored, bro. I didn't even know. I thought that you know, your RTG, that you probably spit those out. Like, you know, that is nothing.
I usually I'm that's why my drawings are so simplified, because I try to get them done as quick as I can.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from an animation background, so you have to simplify to draw 150 frames to get this character.
Okay, I got what you're saying, yes.
And so I simplify everything and really try and capture what the character's intentions are and stuff, just with a look or just with a pose. And comics, they're kind of the hybrid of, they're basically storyboards.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I've always said, listen, I'm writing a panel. This is a movie. Like this.
Yeah.
If I literally had to write, this is how each shot would be with the camera work. Like, you know, and I'm doing after scenes. Like, okay, he throws the kick, gets hit here. I don't have the in between because it's not live. Like, I don't have the animation or the live, but it's the storyboard. That's how they create movies. This the first scene. This the second scene. That's why I'm like, the next thing I'm going to challenge myself to do at the end of the year is to write my first screenplay. Like, what's the difference from a comic script?
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Once you start writing a comic script, you know, it's a cousin. It's a stone throw away. Learning the disciplines, you know. But there's a big difference between, like I was talking the other comic script and the book. I'm writing Dr. Dolittle Jr. and the Creature Catchers, and writing the prose is different because you're the artist. There's a lot of explaining I don't have to do because your art is 1,000 words.
Right.
But when I'm writing that novel, I got to do the smell, the
Yeah.
sight, the hearing, the touch, because I gotta bring your 5 senses into what I'm saying, so it's more descriptive, right? So I gotta get used to that, but it challenged you as a writer too to come out of your comfort zone, not just writing scenes. Like you're getting into your skills, being able to describe what's around you and bring that reader into your world. You know?
Yeah. I can't describe with words. I can do my best. I was like, here, let me draw this for you, because that's where my mind goes. And you just said Dr. Doolittle and the Creature Catcher, and that sounds fantastic.
Oh, I didn't tell you about that. Oh, what is wrong with you? Listen, Dr. Doolittle Jr. and the Creature Catchers. Dr. Doolittle Jr. is an 11-year-old boy from Brooklyn, right? The 11-year-old black kid, and what happens is he keeps having these reoccurring nightmares. You know what I'm saying? And a chain of events leads him to realize that they're not nightmares; they're actually memories. He was kidnapped on the island by the evil Dr. Moreau. I see you all if you know public domain stories. And Dr. Moreau is splicing creatures, and he also kidnapped Trisha the Time Traveler's father and took the time machine. So these creatures that he's splicing, he's sending them back through time. So Dr. Doolittle's father is caught on the island. Dr. Doolittle Jr. got free, but he was experimented on. So he has abilities too beyond talking to animals. His mom has to drop all of this on him because she wasn't sure if he could handle it or not. Right. And she wanted him to have a regular life. So the Bureau of Animal Recon Network, he has to go join Barn and lead his crew. Trisha the Time Traveler. He has Maximus Gorillicus, the gladiator gorilla, and K-Dog, the ninja kangaroo. See, they grew up in a government facility. They couldn't get out. So K-Dog listened to hip-hop and watched karate flicks a lot, Shaw Brothers. And Gladiator, all he did was watch movies like The Gladiator. He swears he's a knight. So this is how they learn human customs, because they couldn't leave the government compound because it's a talking gorilla and a ninja kangaroo. So they grew up on the government compound, and that's basically the personalities they assumed because they couldn't leave nowhere. So K-Dog has a flat top, he talks like he's from the hood, but even though he never really went there. And his dream is to Millie rock on every block across the world. That's his dream. But they're all trying to get their parents, who's on the island of Dr. Moreau, but they can't get there because it's trapped in a time bubble from the time machine, from Trisha the Time Traveler. Now, if you understand that story, you understand that there's 3 public domain titles in there.
Yeah.
The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Time Traveler, and Dr. Doolittle. Combine them, see the writer's magic. Okay. And now he has the creature cat. And there's a 3-headed dog, Darren, Sharon, and Karen.
Oh.
Yeah, they were like an experiment that didn't go too good. They were blue. They try to be mean and tough, but they're not. Karen is all girly girl, and Darren thinks he's tough. But one blows out ice, one blows out fire, and the next one blows out wind. So yeah, they that's their little pet. But they have to fight in this book. It's gonna be like a trilogy. In this book, they have to fight the real 3-headed one, the one he got right. So they try to imprison the dog, but the dog ends up joining the team, becomes the pet. But it's gonna be an awesome story, man. You gotta see it as they find themselves. I got a little animation going. I didn't even know you did that. I'm gonna let you judge my little animation promo coming out because they're listen, bro, they're moving, and I almost passed out. I seen my character come out of my head. Because when I gave this character to OnCB Time, what's going on? ONCB Time. He's illustrating the book. Listen, the guy has no room for creativity because he's looking like this. His hair is going to look like this. This is how the ninja outfit is going to look. I want the sword to look just like this. Because they've been living in my head forever. And every time I get them out, I have some kind of sanity comes back. Mm-hmm. So it's like, to see them come alive, I went crazy. Then the guy he suggested to do the art, he was a fan of. I didn't know. He reached out to me. I'm talking to him for 2 hours on the phone, fanboying. He's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you talked to him. I'm following him. He's a great." I get out of here. I didn't even know that, bro. I'm just fanboying about my ninja kangaroo. So, and then he sends me the storyboard. So I'm getting into your thing. He does the 2D animation. You can check him out. It's at Tristius. Tristious at Tristious. He does actually the videos for all the rappers like Roddy Rich and all of that. He does the animated versions, but he doesn't do like maybe the 3D. The 3D. He does like 2D line work, and which is a lot more, a lot more that goes into it. But that's his style. So he took that those characters, put it into his style. And then I went to a sound guy who did the effects. Man, it's the closest thing I had to a little animation. He was 60 seconds of bliss to see them and hear them. And they were just making effects. They weren't even talking yet. Oh my gosh. Just to hear my character talk, I might just go crazy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about you, Lina, but I don't know if you want to see Keisha from Asheville Demon start talking. It adds a whole new layer because you're writing it and they have a voice in your head. Yeah, when you're writing them, right? But you never get to hear that voice. You just get to deliver the words. People are reading it in their voice. Yeah. That's why I think that's why I can't wait till I get to the point when you get to hear the voice of the character. It's a total next level. But I just sorry for geeking out, man. But I didn't even know I didn't tell. You know what it is? That book is not really, it's still being written, still being illustrated. I'm not really on a promo tour for it, but I let people know whenever I can. But it's one of my things that I'm most proud of because it's the first time I wrote a book. And I'm a fanboy of the story. If I was 9, I'm reading this book. Right. I'm going to send you the picture of the character. I've seen these characters on the book because Dr. Dolittle has the retractable bat wings that come out. He has 3 parts on the side with a mohawk. He's black. It just looks different. People are like, he's what? I didn't even know he had a son. Like, yeah, he does. He has a son now. It's a long line of Dolittles. It's not just one Dolittle. And that's what's cool. Great about the public domain. Like 2034, Captain America is ours. We can do what we want.
I was here for the last one where you were talking about that, and I saw Superman's coming up. I'm like, all right,
remember those guys are the aged guys that brought us into this game. Now imagine you can't tell me nothing as a writer. It's gonna be it's gonna be the year of Superman that year. It's gonna be like 10 Supermans off the bat. I'm gonna put mine in it. It's a different Krypton.
I think everybody who's been there watching those certain days, like John Carter, Superman, all those. It's cool.
Those are things. Eric, man, it was so. This indie creator. Did you hear my other one about my indie creators manifesto? That I was talking about. I was talking about the whole basically playing for the team we own, like saying theoretically, what if there was a company that we all own shares in, and every 3 months
I did hear that. Yeah,
we got a dividend, and we all worked for them, and we were creators and animators. And we all did our thing, and we didn't want to get signed. We signed ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We created our own. We entered the streaming wars, and we do it ourselves. Independent, fresh, new content. We don't have to go through no gatekeepers, right? And it's just, instead of the same redundant thing over and over again by the same 3 media houses, we come and we do our own thing. And we open it. And we open it to just great work, great art, great stories. That's the only, and one at a time we market those that and we in other words, we fire our bosses and we do the last refunder. And then we end up we're playing with it too. So I'm continuing that manifesto. That's why this show's called Indie Creators Assemble, creators of all sorts. Because like I said, I didn't even know there was that many disciplines in this thing that we call, right? Because like you said, you did an animation. The rigger who rigs the unit, you know what I'm saying to you? That rigs to catch the mocap, who does the mocap. If they're, there's so many parts and facets to it, I have to understand. I'm following guys, like you said, they used to rig their toys, and I'm following it. I'm putting flames on it and shit like it's photo. He's like, oh my gosh, you like it? I'm like, yeah, bro, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, those are toys? And he's like, yeah, man, I went to such and such. I got the little ant farm, and I put him in the farm, and he's spraying and shit. And I'm like, oh, shit, fucking crazy. Like, and it looks real. And then when you could edit it with all the software we got now and zoom in, I'm like, man, this shit, and all the work that the diligent work. See, as a creator, you understand when a man is diligently working on something. Yeah. And you respect that process. Because, my cousin works with his hands. Like, he builds BMWs from the ground up.
Yeah.
And we call him Blessed Hands, and he'll make anything, chest to draw or whatever. That art is different. It's tan, like you understand what I'm saying? You name it, floors, roof, he'll build you a deck. The guy's like MacGyver, you know what I'm saying? You like anything, he's building it. And you're like, how do you do that? That's just how his brain is wired.
Yeah.
And he's not having fun unless he's working on something. To me, I'm like, yo, bro, you just came from work. He's like, yeah, I came from work so I could do this. To do this project. But that project is work. Like, your job is dirty, and then you can know it's not. It's work to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it'll be like, how you gonna be writing comic books? That's boring. That's work to you, bro. I would do that all day. I don't even know what time it is.
I'll appreciate anything somebody puts their blood, sweat, and tears into.
Yeah.
And I started to understand that when I got into this. That's why, the show was indie creators. We want to have creators from all different disciplines to be able to say, yo, I respect what you do. We watching you. And sometimes it's disheartening. Like, one thing I see too, Eric, a lot of artists get really disheartened because art is so subjective, right? It is no right or wrong. There is no, like you said, it's not mathematics. It's not sine, cosine, tangent. We don't know what the hypotenuse of. We don't care. Right. We just want to know how you feel and express that on a piece of paper, right? And then continuously, when you continually do so, you develop a style.
Right.
And most artists don't, and when they're looking for it, they're so disheartened, and there's people out there comments, and and I really hate that. That's why I do my best to engage, comment, share this stuff, and let them know, like, yo, listen, man, keep it at it. No one, Rome wasn't built in a day, and you just can't you have to continue. If you love, just understand the one thing you need is the love for it. Everything else, don't worry about that.
Yeah. You know I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like, for me, I hate everything I do.
Why?
Like,
all artists do.
I put something out there. I'm like, all right, it's done, and I
don't want to see it no more. It's disgusting. Yeah. After I wrote that story, I only read it once.
Yeah.
Right. The first comic book I wrote it so long ago, I can't even read it anymore. I can't. I'm on my 7th comic book right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's always like that. And you know what too? If I don't hurry up and put it out, I might change it again.
Yeah.
Because and not only that, you think it's good. Okay, it's good. Sometimes you're feeling yourself, and then the next week you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how it's going to be received. You know how it's received in your head. You came up with it. Right. You have to speak it, say it out loud, right? To make it real. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And then someone has to, because self-praise is no praise, right? So someone has to look at it and say, man, I was moved by it. You have to have your first person say, man, that was a good such for you to actually start to, because you don't know how it's going to be received to the world. You're just throwing it out there, you know?
Yeah, and that's a slippery slope too. Like I told you, I'm new to Instagram. Like, I've had my account for a while, but I just started posting about year and a half ago because I never liked anything to the point where I'm going to show it to the world unless it was for a job, and everything else was just personal stuff, just draw. And it's like, all right, cool. I have sketchbooks sitting everywhere that have never seen the light of day besides my eyes or my wife's eyes.
Oh wow!
And now
bring them out, man. They inspiring my stories, bro. Jump back got a whole world, bro. It's gonna be awesome.
It's motivating to put this stuff out there, but there's that fine line of I'm not getting the likes, I'm not getting this, and to me, you got to step away. You don't do it for the likes. You just put it out there. If it catches, if it catches, cool. That's like it's reassuring, and you're seeing the following numbers go up.
But you know what it is? You can only get let down with expectations. But that's easier said than done, because it's kind of hard to not expect anything. Like, that's just, come on now. Like the stuff if anyone says that, they're trying really too hard to make you feel like they don't care. Everyone cares on some level. Yeah. Right.
So like, you want the attention. That's why you do. That's why you put things out there. You want to be reaffirmed that you're not wasting your time on something, for one, and two, it's if you have this mentality, you feel like whatever you're creating and putting out, hopefully it's inspiring somebody. You're not doing it just because you're doing it. Like, you can go do something. You can do whatever you want. If you're choosing to write a story, draw a picture, make a game, make a car. You're doing it because you either love doing it and that's all you need from it, or you're hoping that the time you spend on it isn't for just wasting time. You're not just killing time.
Right.
You're putting stuff out there. It's like, hopefully what I have to say, someone gets something from it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Besides your children's book, you have any other projects you working on?
Just little personal games, like little side projects, but with new jobs and teaching, like my students are kind of, besides my family, kind of what I'm putting myself into. So like seeing my students kind of grab what I'm teaching them, and seeing like former students, seeing them be where I was when I graduated, but way ahead of me at that time. Like they have the work, they're getting job offers, they're starting at studios. I'm like, man,
what age is
cool.
what age you teaching? College, high school?
Now I'm teaching everything, but primarily the past 5 years has been college level, junior, senior. And so they've all been trying to get into the game industry, making video games, art, and seeing these students really, just being able to watch them grow. And like, I see where they're struggling, and then we have our little conversations over the 3 months that I have them. And then at the end of those 3 months, it's like they're doing it. And some of them come back to me years later. It's like, I did this and now I have a job doing this. Like, that's super dope and mind blowing that I can watch you do, because I didn't have that when I went to school. I
don't even recall any lane like that. That was just something discouraged. Like, what are you doing? You drawing? Like, I was still that was still a starving artist was still attached to that. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, there was the Nintendo that just dropped and Atari, but it was no burgeoning industry where people were teaming. No one was encouraging you to go there. You were still a doodle it, like, and we just had to look at the animation we seen on TV and the cartoons that we had is all we really had, and that looked as, I don't even know who does that. Like, who does that? Like,
that's something you do as a hobby. That's something you do for fun. You can't do that.
And the people that were doing it professionally, we weren't let into that world. Like, people that were making the shows that we like, the artists were never they're the rock stars, but they were never in the front. Like, but it's now that we're starting to see, and that's why I'm trying to make this show, because I know Lina's a big artist. Artists are the rock stars here. Like, it's not about Disney. It's not about these people. It's about the creators.
Right.
It's so crazy. Like, if I was that age, I would be following Disney or Nickelodeon. Now I'm like, no, I'm following the line artist. I'm following the animator. I'm finding out who's the animator, and I'm going to follow him on Instagram. It's totally different now. Who's the editor? The writer. I'm like, I'm going to look at all the writers. Once I started writing, it was over. I don't even read it about the stars no more. I don't care. That guy was in it. But you see who wrote that?
Exactly.
Reginald Hudlin. Reginald Hudlin's run on the Black Panther. He was amazing. I'm like, oh shit, that's the guy that wrote Boomerang, and he wrote such and such. And I'm like, all I'm looking for is writers now. Who's the artist? Who's the animator? Like, I'm in the back now, in the back room where nobody wants. Oh yeah, you want to see us? Yeah, I don't give a damn about Kevin Hart. You did the animation. That shit's amazing, bro. You do the mocap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me, Kevin. Like, we're talking to the artist over there. Like, that's how I feel now as a creator. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you were good too, Kev. But but you walked into this. This was already created. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was really great talking to you.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We're gonna blow this. I don't know what Indie Comics Dispatch is ready, but we're gonna blow this thing out. I'm really confident about this thing. Your art is amazing. I can't wait till I can shoot you that email with the full summary of the story and see what you feel, because I love Junk Bot. Junk Bot is just gonna be. I see I'm not gonna hold you. I see an anthology for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna call it, but it's gonna be epic.
When I was reading that and I hit that third act, I was just like, oh shit, there's a whole world here.
It threw you off, right?
Yeah,
you see that, right?
It just, like, I see different aspects. Like, the invading forces. It's just we can
It
focus
can go.
on
You know
those.
what?
Yeah,
You know
anywhere.
what I love about. All right. You know what I love about an anthology, or also loved about, because I'm a big Rod Sterling fan. So I would always want to do an anthology, but not maybe that's so dark. I want to keep it with these kind of stories and your type of art form, but with the meanings and the invoking, because Rod Sterling was a rock star with the cigar. I could see him with the cognac. He had the jacket on. You hit the wrong turn and you now into the Twilight Zone. And everyone, it was dark. Sometimes it was comical and funny. But the story always had a twist, and and if you look when it stopped, it could have went on.
Yeah.
A lot of stories could have went on. It could have been something. It could have been, and that's what I love about that short story. It lets your mind go. Like you go wherever you want to go with that. I'm on to this one now. We're on another school story, and then you guys thinking there one like, damn, I want more. But that's the whole point, to leave you like there hungering. So then when I felt that feeling, because I wanted more, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kept, you know what kept me so astute as a writer was him giving me the 12-page stop off.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then me thinking from writing comics, I can't crowd panels. Right. So I had to start switching scenes faster and faster and faster. And then it picked up the pace of the story. And as the story started going fast, I was like, damn, there's so many things I could have re-examined, but I had to push the pedal. Right. And then I said, but you know what? It felt good. It felt good just leaving it. Just dropping the baton and just letting the mind, because my mind was wandering. So if my mind is wandering, everybody else's mind is wandering. And that's what I want to do. I want to invoke wandering minds, right? So what if I could just take, since that's just one story and it's really short, let me do 8 to 10 and have invoke all that thought the same way. You know what I'm saying to you? And I really see it forming. And on a children's level too, where children can follow it, the artwork, everything is simplistic. The story is hitting, and you ain't seeing too much, and not giving you much to actually have to delve into. You know what I'm saying? Creating no crazy world, So I really enjoyed that. I never had that was my first short story, and I enjoyed reading short stories going like The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. The Lottery was amazing. Like The Lottery blew my mind with the twist. And if you never read it, I don't want to give it to you. It's a short story by Shirley Jackson. Just read it. Just read it. It's not gonna cost no time. Shirley Jackson is called The Lottery. It's on the same vibe that The Color of Hate was on.
Oh, wow.
And when I read that blew me away. That made me really hungry and said, I'm definitely gotta put this in the back pocket in the repertoire. And then as far as an anthology. So once I seen Indie Comic Dispatch, I said, oh man, this is my time. I think I gotta go shine and do something and see if I could get my feet wet and just telling quick stories. And then once I did that was it, bro. Straight hooked. And like I said, 3 pictures, 3 different stories.
That's dope.
3 different stories and 1 more public domain, man. 1 more public domain. I'm gonna throw a title at you. It's Peter Pan 3000.
You know what's funny about that? I have that same thing already in here. Futuristic Peter Pan.
Bro, I'm gonna give you a quick summary. It's gonna be short and sweet, like a short story. But I just want you to understand this summary right here. It's epic. It's epic. If you got it there and I got it there, it's gonna be epic. I guarantee you. And it's gonna be towards the children, like how we like that group, because I love that group. I'm a big child. It's gonna be amazing, and it's all hours of public domain. It's built-in marketing. But we're gonna talk about that. Eric of Young doesn't even know he has big things in the future going on this year. He doesn't even know. I want you guys to follow Eric_of_Young. He's doing big things. Check out his art. He posts them often. Tonight he will be posting the cover for our epic short story for Indie Comics Dispatch. Short story contest called Tales from the Dispatch. He's an animator. He's a teacher. Married?
Yeah.
He's a husband and a devoted family man and a great person. Look out for the work that we got coming out, and we're gonna be knocking your socks off with some of the stuff we got brewing up. He doesn't even know, bro. His stuff is gonna hit the world, and he'd be like the guy that he seen that image, just chilling at his desk. I appreciate you, Lina. You got any closing things you would like to say, or any questions you would like to get in?
I just want to tell Eric that I'm proud of him, and I look forward into his new journey as a as he working on his new project with you, the children's book. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, what's the name of the children's book, Eric?
It's following a character named Haley.
Oh,
The first book is Haley and the Totally Impossible Homework.
oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Totally Impossible Possible. It's a long title.
Totally, I love it already.
Homework.
Those are the ones that grab you though.
Yeah, that's all my writer. He had that wordplay. I'm like, dude, that's dope.
That grabs you. That's dope.
Yeah,
he's doing his thing then.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've been a fan of following you guys. Like, it's totally, again, this is a totally new experience. Like finding just people throughout the world, and there's just so much. Like the whole indie scene. Like I knew it was there, but to see creators coming together and doing cool things and supporting each other, and it's not a competition. It's building up.
A mission, not a competition. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all on a mission to do what we want to do.
Right.
And I grew up with the mindset you have to be. Yeah, I grew up with the mindset you have to work and then you fight with everybody and get your stuff out there first.
Yeah, that's how we were raised.
The best. Yeah. And then
if
now
we get in a position,
everybody,
that means you have to kick somebody out of it.
Right.
No, yeah. I can come right next to you and we could just work together, bro.
Yep. And that's like this type of stuff. Like Wednesdays, I know it's like I'm going to be watching this, going to be doing some drawing, and it's even just hearing the conversations of the people that you guys have on. It's just inspiring to see people creating and not really pushing anybody down, more just picking everybody up and just as a community, you know, the world as itself coming together as we're just going to make cool shit that people can enjoy.
Right.
That's it. And it's an epic time to be alive for creators and for fans. Right. And I wish as a child, bro, I had the access to creators like you, or to be online, to see epic indie comics and anime. That's why I know there's room for a platform like my Indie Manifesto for us to go out there and put fresh, amazing new content like your book, you know, The Impossible Part, and not having to worry about the man or going, no, just boom, we created, it's out. You ain't worrying about nothing. You're getting 70% of all advertising revenue. You maintain ownership. You're only giving the platform exclusive rights to do your content. So you're maintaining it, not only feeding you, but your kids, maybe your grandkids, and then you die here, great-great-grandsons is still eating royalties off of Haley and the Impossible Possible Homework. Because now it's the fourth generation of fans, right? Because whoever made Superman, how many generations ate off of Superman? Every decade, every hour, every day kept eating. They kept continually making money from an OC. An OC. That's all they are. They're OCs. They're original characters made by that. We all have those. Yeah. Right? And we all looking for someone Disney has to come and find me in a hole somewhere. No.
Right.
And then when you put it out there, the people will come. The reason you're watching the same thing on it is because it's the only channel on. It's not because it's really that good.
Yeah.
Half the things we watched wasn't really that great. I had to pop some people's stuff. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Heartwarming, because it brings back so much memories. But if we was to stand up to today's standard, we like, what the hell was I really watching? This shit was really stupid. But that was the time. It was amazing for that time. Right? But it wasn't that it was just it was amazing. No. You know, the tower, I'd say the curse of Babel has been broken. Everybody had to go their own way in that story. No one could speak to each other because now it's been broken with the internet. I can go anywhere, hit a Google Translate and have somebody. So, like I said, I'm hearing somebody in Philippines talking. I don't even know if they know English or not. They could be straight just texting me. I've never heard their voice.
Right.
Yep.
They could just be translating and texting. I don't even know if they know proper English. But I know that the communication has been 100% so far. And he's understood me and I understood him. So that's a curse that's been broken. And that's a man and his mind and his creativity I would have never been able to tap or access because of the language barrier, the distance barrier, and I would just never have met you in my life.
Yeah.
It's 7 billion people in the world. You know what I'm saying to you? But the algorithm brings those who are passionate together because there's no way skateboard is life in Sweden and skateboard is life in Brooklyn, we're gonna meet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because skateboard is life. And when there's only so many events and there's so many algorithms for us skateboarders, I'm gonna meet you. Right? So, and that's what it is. And that's what happened with this indie community. Where are you going? Listen, I don't want to watch TV anymore unless it's The Mandalorian, Disney Plus, or scheduled stuff, WandaVision, and all other things that we've streamed that we want to watch. I don't sit down unless it's the news because I gotta go to work.
Yeah,
we need to know the weather and all of that, and maybe some basketball. But otherwise,
you don't even need to watch that. You can just hop on your phone and look real quick. Like
that's why I said there's room for us because our attentions are where we want to put them.
Yeah,
not where before our attentions were where corporate America held it.
Yeah,
it was 2, 3. It was 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11. Like you understand? So it was easy to. That's all you had. That box, right? Mm-hmm. Anything outside of that is what you created in your imagination. You know what I'm saying, Neil? So and now we have the choice, and we're able to use it. That's why I know this indie manifesto is prime. It's prime time. There's enough people, and we all want to fire our boss, whether you do this or not.
Yeah.
It was great having you. I don't want to hold too much of your time. We're gonna kill on this contest, and we're gonna talk in private too about the idea that I have, the Peter Pan 3000 and the Junk Bot. I'm gonna run that by you because I really like that one. And a couple of anthology things. And like I said, there's no set time, no set date. We're just gonna build and build, and when we look back at what we created, we'll be ready to release it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying to you? And we'll take it from there, man. I just want to appreciate. I'm a fanboy. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna keep promoting you. We're gonna keep in touch. Anything you want to say? Any parting words, Lina?
I just want to say I'm proud of both of you and what you're doing.
I love when you say that, man, because it just sounds so genuine, you know? It's so simple, but it sounds genuine. That's all
I'm excited to see what you're coming up with, because I've been looking at your stuff, too. It's just like, man, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
Well, if I could get 10 people to say they like my stuff, I felt like I did something. I don't even feel like the whole world has to like my stuff. I just know that I really love it. And if I really love it, it's downhill from there for me, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how we're going to take it. But we're going to end it on that note, Eric. God bless you and your family. I hope you have a blessed year. And look forward to kicking in with you more at the end, especially this short story and all the rest of the projects.
Yep, you too. Stay safe.
All right, man. Indie Creators Assemble, IG, Dope Girls Comics, Bristol Media Group, March 5th, Friday. Kickstarter starting. 2 titles for the price of 1. Go back in and support it. It's going to be 2 amazing stories, 2 amazing creators. We don't got a lot of comic book female creators, especially Black. The diversity is amazing. We love it. Indie Creators Assemble, Eric Young, Dope Girls Comic, Bristol Media Group. We out.
Good night.
Take care, guys.
See ya.